Hey YouTubers, going to do a replacement of this manifold inlet manifold gasket on this Falcon. It's been playing up, idle and rough. Not too bad when you're driving along, but just idle and very rough. And I knew that the coils and plugs, fuel filter was all new. Cleaned the throttle body. So I basically figured it could only be a vacuum leak left, so I made a homemade smoker machine to basically check for vacuum leaks, and I've got another video on my channel about that if you want to check that out, how to find the vacuum leaks quick and easy. Found a pretty quick leaking manifold gasket, so went and got another one of them. Now we're just going to get into it and pull her off, and never done this job before, but going to give it a go and show you along the way how we do it basically. Cheers. So first things first, basically just remove the airbox and then we'll remove the throttle body. All you're going to do with that, everyone should know how to do that. Pretty simple, easy job. Just unclick this. These already are undone. Pull these two bolts out, here and here. And just pull that off. Chuck it to the side. That's that step done. We're going to pull this out as well. I've got two screws here to pull that off the side of the box. One bolt down there, two bolts up there. We'll pull that out just so we can get access, and then we'll pull this off, and I'll show you that after. Yeah, I'll show you after that's all removed where we go from there. Okay, so the airbox has been pulled out. Now we're going to pull off the throttle body. Just one little clip here, pull that little red tab out, and then you press the little black clip just in there, and that just slides straight off. And then there's just 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty easy. Okay, so we'll just crack all those. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hang on, I'll just grab. This is just usually how I do this. Just get it in down there. Sometimes they're pretty tight. Just grab the top of that, crack it. Same thing on the other one. Slip your little spinner over there, crack it. Oh, there we go. Rightio, once I pull those 4 bolts out and remove it, I'll go show you where to go from there. Okay, so all the 4 bolts out of the throttle body are out. Now we've just got to unclip this, which is just a little clip on the side. Chuck that aside. There's your throttle body off. I'll bring you back shortly to show you the next step. Okay, next plan of attack is, I've never done this job before, but as I said, but probably be best to drain the water, because you know, as water, you know, goes through your ports and whatnot, I just want to drain the water. And then next thing is, around here, if you can have a look, there's, you know, obviously these are the bolts you got to remove, heaps of them, pretty hard to get ones. I'm going to loosen them all, and I'm going to leave these 2 top ones in there just to hold the whole thing on. The plan is basically just to move the manifold back enough just to get the old gasket out and a new one in. Hopefully it goes to plan. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, so that's the plan. Loosen all the bolts, leave these 2 top ones in to hold it, because they'll be the easiest ones to get to at the very end. And then once all the rest are out, we'll come back around here, loosen these off, move it back, get the gasket out. But I'll show you along the way how I actually attack getting at some of these bolts, because obviously some of them are going to be extremely hard to get to, so we'll yeah, show you how I do it to get to some of these hard to reach bolts. Okay, so just to show you how to get to some of these bolts, the easier ones. Basically just a long little extension. That's for the bottom, the first bottom one on this side. Crack that one. Crack those. Yep, drop that. Up the top here, little 10mm ratchet spinner will probably be your best friend doing this job. Okay, you should be able to just get these down into here pretty easy. Yep, crack those like so. You can get to those pretty easy. Well, same as these ones. Should be able to get to those pretty easy. Yep, and this one over here, probably the same thing. Probably be able to get to that one with the... Yep, you can get to that one. The next one, right next to it, it looks a lot harder, so what we'll probably have to do there is pick our extension bar up. Use a long extension, one of these little knuckle doobie lacquer things. Drop the ratchet again. Probably going to happen many times during this video. Yeah, and you may need to, some of these spots might be very difficult to get to, so I dare say we'll have to use the knuckle and the long extension to get onto some of those like that. If you can see down in there, slip it on, and yeah, might not be able to get to it that way. We'll figure out how we get to it and show you later. Okay, so this top one at the front, it's a real pain in the bum to get to. Just used a couple of long extensions with that knuckle, came in on an angle, got it onto the bolt, and now you can just get a turn on it. So that'll be a slow process, but that's how I'm going to remove that one. Slowly turning, as you can see. You can just see straight down in there. It's on the bolt. And we'll just do that one like that. Okay, so I jacked the car up. Obviously it's easy to get to the bolts underneath from underneath. These three here are easy to get with the 10mm ratchet spinner. Still not sure what I'm going to do to get to the one in behind this heat pipe yet. But I've pulled the starter motor out. Sorry I didn't video it, but it's pretty easy to get a starter motor out. Pulled the starter motor out so we could get to these bolts easier at the bottom. So I'm just going to pull all those out, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got these two bolts out. This one here has got a little wire and that hooked onto it. Obviously, when we're putting it back together, we're going to have to make sure that goes back on. Now this top back one, all I could find online was basically a few little comments on Ford forums about how to do this, which was not very helpful at all. They said this back bolt was the hardest to get to. Pulling the starter motor out has made it a lot easier to get to. But I've basically just come up with your little knuckle again, get this on there, and just do it piece by piece at a time. So yeah, that's basically it. You don't get much of a turn, it takes a while, just take your time and you'll get it. Don't forget to unbolt this bracket from the block or from the manifold, otherwise when you go to remove your manifold back to get your gasket out, you'll wonder why it ain't budging. There's a bracket up here, and I'll show you this one up the top. And there's two other brackets holding the manifold to the block here as well, one here and one here. Once I remove this one, I'm going to remove the dipstick, and I do not know how I'm going to get to the other bolt that's bolting this bracket and the manifold, but I'm going to figure that out and I'll show you. Okay, so this bolt here, we tried a lot of different ways. This one's holding the bracket on. This is basically the hardest one other than that back one. I end up just getting that back one after I pulled the starter motor out with this same setup. It just took a while. You definitely need help, someone to help you. Went through here, I'm loosening that through there now. These brackets here actually have longer bolts. You got shorter bolts and longer bolts. There's the longer ones. There's the longer ones here somewhere. So the longer ones, slightly longer ones, they'll be the ones that go back through the bracket and the manifold. So they're a little bit extra longer to compensate for this bracket. The shorter ones are all just ones that bolt straight to your manifold. I did pull off these two little brackets here that basically go from here to here to get to this bolt down here. That was pretty easy once I pulled this bracket out. You need these brackets out anyway to pull the manifold away from the block. So we're down to the last bolts, except for the two easy ones that I'm going to leave till last. And once I get those three out, I'll bring this back and we'll see how we go. Moment of truth. Okay, we got that bolt out. I've got done that one. I'm down to the last one. So moment of truth. I'm going to pull this one out, and apparently what I've read on very poor forums is this gasket should just fall straight out, and we should be able to move this back enough to get the other gasket out. So we'll do that. Not going to lie, folks, this was like not the funnest job in the world. It was a pain in the ass, but if you're broke like me, you should basically just give it a go yourself if you're confident, and yeah, try and save a bit of money. That's what my channel's going to be about, just trying to fix things on our own so we don't have to spend thousands of dollars on rip-off mechanics. Weight was on it. Yep, there it goes. It actually fell out. So yeah. Alright, well, I'll pull this out. Yep, that just comes straight out. Easy as. There's the gasket. Oh, it's breaking in my hand actually. Just broke it in half. Well, some of it's still obviously stuck in there. Yeah, she come out. I'll try and get this other gasket back in there. I mightn't be able to record it because I might need my brother to give me a hand to slip it back in there and get some bolts in, but get back to you shortly. Okay folks, here's the back one. I don't know if you can see it all that well, but using an open end spanner, the actual heater hose here has a bracket on it where the bolt's got to go through the heater hose bracket and then through the manifold into the block. And it's not too bad. I reckon it's real hard one to get to, but I'm just basically using the open end spanner and basically just, yeah, I'm getting sort of like a quarter of a turn on it each time, so it's not too bad. But that's that. I bolted all the rest of the bottom ones in, haven't tightened them up yet. Still got to put the starter motor back in. I'm going to tighten all 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, and once I do that, jump back up top and we'll go from there. Okay, few long necks to do this job. It is a bitch of a job. When you do the gasket, when you're basically putting the gasket, slipping the gasket back up in, just get a couple of bolts in one either end somewhere so your gasket stays square. Then put all your bolts in at least finger tight, all of them in. Don't tighten any of them up, just all in finger tight, and then go along and tighten them all. Get back to you shortly. YouTubers, yeah, we've got it all back together. Basically, sorry I didn't record the pulling out of the starter motor and putting it back in, but I'm not being a smart ass, but if you don't know how to do that or you can't figure that out, you definitely shouldn't attempt this job. It is a bit of a prick. It's not too bad, except for just really hard to get to. I'll show you what tools you need. Basically, as I said, the ratchet spanner 10mm is going to be your best friend, and the little knuckle, heaps of extension bars just to try and get in from different angles to get to all your bolts. Now all I'm going to do is basically just put, my airbox back in, hook my battery back up, and I'll fire it up, show you the vid of it running, show you the tools I used, and yeah, that's about it. I hope it really helped somebody out there. I looked up plenty of times to try and see if there was any vids about putting an intake manifold on one of these. I couldn't find much, nothing much too helpful. Plenty of comments and whatnot on Ford forums and that, but I just figured make a good video. It'll probably help somebody out a hell of a lot more. You like the video, or if it helps you out, please consider liking and subscribing. Just starting out this channel, backyard mechanics, just to help people out basically. Cheers.
You still got another 3 other ones to try and...
Okay guys, like I said, very minimal tools. Shitload of extension bars, 13mm socket. That was basically just pull starter motor out with extensions and whatnot. But extensions on this with a 10mm socket. Best friend here, 10mm ratchet spanner. Philip said that was only really to pull the airbox out. Your knuckle, definitely your best friend. A little 8mm socket for, that was only to tighten the radiator hose and a few other things. But yeah, very minimal tools. I've just hooked it all back up. Have not started it yet. We just finished doing the battery. Moment of truth. Wish me luck. See how she goes. Oh, I don't even have the keys. Oh, yes I do. Okay. CD popping out. Battery being out. As I said before, it was idling like shit. Well, she started, that's a good sign. Nowhere near as much shake in the engine. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, like I said guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, that'd be great. Starting this channel out to help people basically. Enjoy. Hope it saves you a few bucks. Up the mighty barra.